I really wanted to work at Croft because it was an opportunity to do something more entrepreneurial. I spent my whole career working in very large businesses, never really had the opportunity to work for myself. I'd also never had the chance to work with Ben. We've been friends for 20 years, but never worked together. And I also really thought there was an opportunity in the unified communications industry to consolidate and build a national brand in an industry where there's lots and lots of small players, but very few that do the range of services we do across the whole country. Loud, hopefully challenging, and perhaps supportive. Not sure about those three. Probably entirely different bad words. But if swear words aren't allowed, I'm hoping challenging and supportive will be in the three. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, is probably the only one that springs to mind, presumably because of his enormous talent rather than the fact that I'm fat and mousy coloured hair. Not sure how hidden it is, but I play a lot of poker. I'm quite an enthusiastic poker player, and I'm reasonably good. I think it's such a vibrant organization. We've got such a good young workforce that really have taken on the changes in the last year with real enthusiasm. You know, we've trebled in size in a year, which is very hard for any business. And we have a team of people that have embraced that change and that are growing with the business, which is tremendous to see. Definitely the laugh out loud emoji. I'm not sure if that's because of me or the messages people send to me, but it does appear that that sort of irony of the lol emoji is my go-to. Definitely podcasts. I listen to a lot of random podcasts, usually blood-curdling murder stories. And then I guess something functional like email and phone. But yeah, the only one I really would care about is the podcast one. Dogs, Milo specifically, my 3-year-old golden doodle. Uh, my first real job was calling people to create appointments for new kitchens. So I had to get people to take an appointment for a kitchen designer, and I got paid £5 for every appointment I made. And it was painful, but probably was my first real introduction to selling and objection handling and all of the stuff that's actually really pivotal. At the time, it was absolutely horrible. I think our obsession with customer service and I think our ambition are probably the two things that set us apart. Driving across America. I've lived in the US for 20 years, and I really like the idea of traveling across the country. America is a real mix of really different countries merged into one nation. And there's so many different things to see across the country that even though I've lived here 20 years, I've never seen. So the idea of getting in a car and probably a convertible and driving across the country really appeals to me. It would have to be Taylor Swift. I think when my youngest daughter, who's now 11, began listening to Taylor Swift, I absolutely despised her music. And interestingly, what's happened is Millie has grown out of liking her, and I've really started to like her music. So definitely a guilty pleasure. Asking somebody to do something for me. People that give up. I think tenacity is the skill I admire most in people. And I think when you give up, you're losing any potential you had of succeeding at a particular job or learning a skill. And I think in business, I've seen a lot of people with real talent not fulfill it because they don't have tenacity. They give up. They think they can't do something, and it's a huge shame to see that. Well, firstly, I'm not sure there's enough alcohol in my house for that to be a possibility. If I did get drunk enough, it would probably be something super cheesy like Sweet Caroline. No. Huh. Probably my Apple Watch. It keeps me focused on how many steps I've done in a particular day, and simultaneously plays podcasts to me and keeps me up to date with sports scores. It's the perfect gadget. Good walking shoes. What I've learned is that when you can't go out anywhere, to just go outside and walk around a park, and being able to do so in comfortable shoes has been a huge plus. It would have to be Ben, given that he's the reason I joined Croft, and Becky because she's my daughter and my favorite person.
Yes, that's a good answer. I like that.
Probably my risk-taking ability. I've had a number of opportunities in my career to take a safe path or take the risky path, and I've always gone down the risky path. I've lived in Germany in my 20s. That was a big risk. I didn't speak the language. I moved to the US 20 years ago to set up an American business. That was a huge risk. I left a very large finance company to join Croft, and that was a risk too. I'm a huge believer in calculated risk, and I think it's helped me achieve quite a lot. I think the continued merging of what constitutes a mobile phone, a soft phone, and an office landline, I think those will essentially start to become just one thing, and the user won't even notice what device they're using. I think it might be the lunatics have taken over the asylum. Why? Because Ben and I run the place, and yeah, we're lunatics.
I still like Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, maybe I should do Dumb and Dumber. Okay, let's maybe record both, and then let's let them choose.
Okay, cool. So really disappointingly, the first one was intelligent, which is just going to feed your ego.
Yeah, I mean, obvious. It seems obvious.
The next one I quite like is direct.
You know what? We should re-record the question, because the direct is absolutely what I would expect.
It's very accurate, but it's also a way of saying like aggressive, harsh, rude.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a better answer now. Okay, and the next?
We'll do that one again. And the third one was Leeds/Northern.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. There were some other ones, but they were pretty pretty similar. Like most of them were along the lines of intelligent and direct. Assertive came up a few times as well.
Yes. By the way, we should re-record that one because I think I accidentally said Philip Seymour Hoffman because of his talent, but I think I should have said because of my talent.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Mark Johnson was one of them, a rugby player apparently. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Adrian Chiles.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone said Donald Trump, but that's just a low blow. That's not even fair.
That's not even funny.
Okay. Claire Boulding.
What?